Hey there! Welcome to On That Note, the official podcast of Sound Chamber Records and Maryville Music Academy. I'm your host, Jerry Martin, and around here, we're all about music, mentorship, and meaningful conversation. When was the time that you kind of found your own voice?
I really came to the realization one day, and I think you and I are even talking about it, like, this is your song. You wrote this song. You are the only person that can sing this song. You need to sing it for you, like you. And that really hit me, and ever since then, I don't ever think about someone else singing it. You know, I always think, like, this is me, and it's my song, and my voice is the one that needs to be singing it and telling that story.
Today's guest is country music artist Cassandra Day, an emerging voice in country music who leads with honesty, storytelling, and heart. Cassandra has just finished up her debut album called The First Time, a project that captures personal moments, growth, and the kind of songs that feel lived in and real. Cassandra, welcome to the On That Note podcast. We're really glad you're here.
Thank you so much for having me, Jerry. I'm so glad to be here today.
I want to ask you, go ahead and kick this off right. Let's start with just a little bit about you. So tell me about yourself, where you're from, and what your upbringing was like.
Okay, well, I'm originally from Ohio, and I've been down here in Tennessee for 15 years. Always knew Tennessee was going to be home for me. Visited a whole bunch of times when I was a kid. Felt the pull of the mountains, and as soon as I could, I got myself down here, and I've been here ever since.
That's awesome. So what about some of your earlier years, and how was that for you?
Well, I grew up, we had a big yard, we were always outside, and I grew up around a lot of music. My mom was in a local rock band.
Awesome.
Yes, and so was my uncle, so there was always lots of singing and instrument playing around, and it was great to grow up like that. Definitely grew up listening to a ton of 80s and 90s country music, which really helped shape me into the singer and songwriter I am, but had a really great childhood, got to spend a ton of time outside, and it was great.
Speaking of the musical influences, did you have time to perform, or did you perform at all during that time?
When I was younger, I did some things. Actually, in the 4th grade, I did a talent show at school that I won where I sang Walk Away Joe by Trisha Yearwood.
Ooh,
so
okay.
I've always, sang and done things like that in school when I was younger.
With me, I was on a tour bus at the age of 2. And I was touring around in the upper states with my mom and dad, and they were singing in a quartet. I was on stage at that early age as well. So it's kind of like, wow, we get the musical influences from our parents and our family, and then we get the opportunities at that early age, which is kind of unheard of back in that time,
Yeah, and those are really formative years
Yeah.
for all the things that you like and those things that become a part of you.
That's right. Okay, so tell me a little bit about, we've been working together for almost a year. So when was the time that you kind of found your own voice, as their own voice? When we come into here, a lot of times and I see this a lot in students in the academy, where they want to sing exactly like their favorite artist, and they want to do the arrangements exactly the same, but then we find out that we're unique, and so then we have to just kind of pivot and make it our own. So when was the time that you kind of found your own voice?
Well, we had been working on a song, and I was practicing it, and I was trying to sing it a certain way, and I think I was trying to make it sound more like someone else. And I had a hard time with it. It never resonated with me. It never sat well with me. And I really came to the realization one day, and I think you and I are even talking about it, like, this is your song. You wrote this song. You are the only person that can sing this song. You need to sing it for you, like you. And that really hit me. And ever since then, I don't ever think about someone else singing it. I always think, like, this is me, and it's my song, and my voice is the one that needs to be singing it and telling that story.
That's right. And also, it kind of gives you that confidence, doesn't it? Where, okay, I am the artist, so I've got to step out of my comfort zone, so to speak, and become that artist. So it's not now, I'm not just singing covers, I'm singing my own stuff that I've created, my own songs, and you have to deliver in that way, and really it's a mindset shift to where you become a fan of somebody, but now you are the artist, and it's time for you to step up and do that. So
yeah, and sometimes it is hard to get there to really wrap your brain around that. But once you do, it usually does settle in, and you're good.
Okay, good. So tell me this. Now that we've recorded your whole album now, which is awesome, and we'll get to that just in a moment. As you go through that process and you have found your voice, tell me this. Is there an artist out there that you lean more towards their style or even their tone that you're kind of compared to?
I've been compared to Kelsey Ballerini and oddly the band Perry.
Yeah.
And I was compared to Lainey Wilson a few times. So those kind of artists, which all of those are just huge compliments. I think that's fantastic. But those are some of the artists that I've been compared to, and I could see some of my sound being lended to.
Absolutely, yeah. And they are a phenomenal artist. So I'm glad that the listeners would listen to your stuff and say, hey, you sound like these, which is good because it's you're still you. And it's like, wow, that's a very big compliment, And even though I'm a big fan of you anyway, and I love your voice, but it's about, kind of like, oh, you're going into that upper level of, hey, here's where these artists are, and you're being compared to that right now, which is cool.
Yeah, and it also really does help people because when you are a new artist and people are unfamiliar with your sounds, they need to know, hey, this is in the same vein of this person, and then they can start to get comfortable and really lock in to you and your voice and your songs.
That is totally correct, yeah, because when we talk about artist development and we talk about finding your people, we talk about finding the genre that you most resonate with, and those fans out there, they resonate towards certain sounds, and so you're exactly right. They like all these other artists that sound similar, and then that's where you find your people. It's really a cool thing. All right, so let's talk about your debut album, The First Time. All right, you have really put a lot of hard work into this album. I'm very proud of you. When we first started working together, you say, I've got these songs, okay, and then the next time we work together, hey, I've got some more songs. I mean, you're just a writing machine. What did you have in mind when you first said, I want to record a country album and I want these particular songs on there? So what was the process for you?
Well, for anybody that does songwrite, I highly recommend saving every single thing, every little blurb, because you can always come back and use that and expand on it, and it gives you a lot to choose from. When you have so many songs, you have to make sure that they all kind of fit a theme of an album, and one is not out here or out there. So I really wanted this album to be a throwback, so very contemporary, but with these nods to 90s country, because that's the country that raised me. So making sure that I was staying true to that time set and that level of country music was really, really important. That was a focal point when I was planning out what songs to put on the album and what it should sound like. And then from there, I wanted to make sure that all of them were authentically me, that, they had pieces of me all over them, that they were things I lived through or things, that were near and dear to my heart. So just making sure that all of that just really reflected me as a person, so that people can connect with
absolutely. That. So I'm going to run through the track list right now, okay? The First Time, which is the actual album title, Playing to Win, The Perfect Night, Through and Through, Big City Girl Country, Fan My Flames, Standing Still, Stay, Seasons, Room, and Losing. And we've worked through all those songs, and they're fantastic songs, and they all tell a different story. So I want to feature just a few of those songs. First is The First Time. Tell me a little bit about that song and how it came about and why you wanted it to be like the title of the song.
Well, I thought the title was very fitting. I thought that was a great title for my first album because it is the first time that I'm putting all of this out there. So I found that to be really, really on point for that. I wrote that song. It's a very personal song to me. That's something that I lived through. And, sometimes another person in a relationship may realize later on that, like, hey, I actually made a mistake and I had it right with that person the first time. But at that point, that door is closed. So it actually brought a lot of closure for an old relationship, and was great to write because that's just me pouring my heart into that one.
Yeah, it's a little freeing, isn't it?
Yes,
Just to say,
it is.
now this is over.
Yes.
Good. All right, so tell me this, The Perfect Night. Tell me about that. And I love this song, and my wife was like, yeah, I just love this song so much because you can visualize what you're going for. So tell me a little bit about that.
So the perfect night really is just about a moment in time, and realizing that, like, you can have a great night anywhere, but it all comes back to, this is just for one night. I'm not going to stay here because I got to go back to where my roots are and I got to go back home. And letting people know that and being very, very authentic and honest about that. And you never really know how that's going to impact other people as well. Right. But really just about like a moment in time. If you can imagine just one night of your life, you were out somewhere else, a city or restaurant, wherever you were, and having just that moment and just taking a snapshot of it.
Yeah, I love that. All right, so tell me a little bit about your current single, Big City Girl Country.
I just had a blast writing and recording Big City Girl Country because it really does speak to living in a place that you may not want to be, but still making the best of it and still, finding those good things within that, even if it's not exactly where you want to be. And I know, I lived in another state and that was definitely not where I wanted to be, but I still made the best of things. I was still positive. And then, so that song was really fun to write because I lived that too.
Yeah. It's like every song that you have written, there's a piece of you in there, and you're a great storyteller in your writing. So I can see when you listen to the songs, you can actually see it just come to life. And I think that's a very special talent to have when someone as a writer can express it that way. So yeah, I'm excited for this album to come out. This is going to come out very soon. It's going to come out actually March 6th, and we're very excited about that. We're going to take a brief pause here with a word from one of our special sponsors. Before we get back to the show, we want to take a moment to share something close to our hearts. The Estelle Martin Music Foundation was created to make sure no child is turned away from music because of financial hardships. We provide scholarships, lessons, and instruments to foster youth, military families, and children in need. Music builds confidence, it creates belonging, it gives kids a voice when they don't yet have the words. If you believe every child deserves a chance to discover their gift, we invite you to partner with us. Your support doesn't just fund lessons, it changes lives. To learn more and how to give, visit the Estelle Martin Music Foundation in the show note link below, because every child deserves a song. And now, back to the On That Note podcast. Okay, so let's go into something very fun.
Okay.
All right, so this is called Rapid Round. This is going to be just a one answer kind of thing. So I'm going to fire off an A and B type deal, and you just pick the one you want. And there's going to be one that's going to have a fill in the blank at the end, and then you can expand upon that if you want to, okay?
Okay.
All right, here we go. Coffee or sweet tea?
Coffee.
Writing alone or co-writing?
Writing alone.
Acoustic or full band?
Ooh, that's a tricky one. I'm going to go full band.
Studio or stage?
Stage.
Late nights or early mornings?
Early mornings.
Favorite lyric you've written?
Ooh. That's a tricky one.
Yeah.
I think right now the one that sticks out is when I wrote, I guess I'll make my own fun from Big City Girl Country, because I know that one really sticks out right now.
Okay, good. All right, what's your dream venue to play?
Ooh. I guess the Ryman.
Very nice. What's one song that inspires you right now?
Backup Plan by Bailey Zimmerman and Luke Combs.
Good. Very good. Very good. One word for this season in your life?
Roller coaster.
Yeah, it has been, right?
Yes.
That's right. All right. Okay, one more question. Country music means blank to you.
Everything.
Good, good. Yeah. Now we're back to the last question. All right. When things feel uncertain or overwhelming, what helps you stay grounded in who you are and why you create?
I lean a lot into my faith. It grounds me, when I'm feeling a certain way, whether it's down or unsure. I always turn back to my faith and make sure that I'm spending some time in prayer and following where God wants me to go. And that's the path that I'm on, and He just leads me on that way, and I'm following.
Very good. And as we wrap this up, getting to work with you, Cassandra, is amazing. For one thing, because I like to work with people who are really driven, and you have that in spades. You're just go, go, go. And I've been very impressed with the journey you've been on since we first started working together, and how far you have taken it. And this is just the beginning for you. It's once the album drops and everything you've been working towards and working behind the scenes. If you have not checked out Cassandra's page, where I really like the fireside chats, that was special. That was really a cool thing to do. And then watching you build your cabin in the woods, that's pretty cool. You do a lot of things that are out of the box, and I think that's kind of a really cool thing that you're doing that other artists, they aren't. So kind of what made you go in that direction?
I think it's really important as people get to know me as an artist that they connect with me. And I want to show, pieces of my life that are 100% authentically me, that are real. And I want to be able to share that. So I'm so grateful to be able to share my story through Fireside Chat and to share my cabin journey that I'm on, building this crazy off-grid cabin. In addition to the music, it's really been a blessing to be able to share that with people.
Well, thank you again, Cassandra, for being on our show today. It was exciting to have you.
Thanks for having me, Jerry.
Folks, mark it down on your calendars. March the 6th, the first time. Full album release by Cassandra Day is coming to you on your favorite streaming networks. I know I'll be checking it out, even though I got a secret stash of her songs. So we have another future episode planned where we're going to go into the whole album, song by song, of The First Time, and let you have a deeper look inside of how it all came together. Be looking for that episode in the near future. On That Note is the official podcast of Sound Chamber Records and Maryville Music Academy. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who loves music just as much as you do. We've got some more amazing artists, stories, and behind-the-scenes moments coming your way, so stay tuned. And on that note, we'll see you next time.